Sen and Sideshow.
Yep, the famous caster pair, Omniscience.
Yeah.
Blessed of it. Yeah, this is a matchup here though, Josh. Listen, DRX versus Sentinels. You think of two historic orgs, right?
Yeah.
I think of a VCT's history. And despite that fact, they've only played each other once. And it wasn't even in VCT, it was during an off-season tournament earlier on in 2023, towards the tail end of the year. And it's the tournament that really kick-started this year off for Sentinels. It's what really formed this consistent roster. It got them stable in terms of the players that they actually wanted to field. And coincidentally as well, it also got them on that run heading into Madrid.
And now we get to watch them clash as our opening game of playoffs. They're up here playing in the big leagues. And look at this to set up the pistol round. A 4-player defensive stack coming through to defend B main. They've read this perfectly.
The hard read by Sentinels. Holding their ground as well. It's going to be util used. Pound for pound here. Bar for bar. Almost shots are fired. Aftershock for aftershock. The blind. It was good towards the back of the pillar, but it just can't quite disjoint these players still. DRX. Claim the day here. Claim the round. Opening pistol round in their hands.
And that threw a great read for Sentinels of what was going to happen. Sen won every pistol, every bonus against Gen G, and here looked like they were set up to be able to succeed. Those flashes that came through, though, from Foxy9 and Mako completely ruined what Sentinels were going for. Sen needed a bit more of a spread out position so they didn't all get hit by every piece of utility, and yet the dump worked perfectly for the Korean team. Get off onto a much better start than Gen G did in the same spot, and we are going to be making those comparisons regularly, because how could you not? Number 1 versus number 2 Pacific team, our two Korean teams playing on home turf. Sen's already taken one of them down. But you might think Gen G were the harder of the two. That is extremely debatable.
It's still up for debate, right? I mean, DRX, I think, have shown a very, very deep map pool. Even in the lead up to playoffs, the player form as well individually. It's been looking large and in charge. And I think that this is a team now that has that responsibility of being the sole representatives of Pacific in the playoffs. Not just that, but also the sole Korean team with Gen G out. Just outcomes that I think most people were not anticipating at all heading into champs.
Ten said in an interview earlier today that he hoped a lot of the Gen G fans were going to hop on board with Sen, because, you know, you want to lose to the tournament winners. You want to become our fans so that Gen G didn't just get knocked out by a bad team. I don't think there's much chance of a lot of the Pacific fans hopping on board with Sen over DRX, considering the position that they're in. Korean team, last Pacific squad. Surely they're just going to snowball and pick up fans from those other teams as it goes.
You have to imagine.
They found themselves in a really easy post plan here. Sentinels went for the gamble stack over towards A, and now just looking to do some economic damage as flashback holds.
He's going to get overwhelmed though. Sheer amount of utility. Luckily, teammates happy to bail him out. Up and over the shoulder. They know that Zekken is tucked up deep. Yes, they do. Aftershock is committed by Celsius. Just for the kill towards the end here, but it won't be ousted. Garnered off the back of it. No real guns either. At least the Bulldog. Celsius keeping it in his hands, but he might just go down anyway. Yes, he will.
Choose to go down with the Bulldog there because you'd rather have the Vandal or the Phantom into the next. It makes a lot of sense. DRX not chaining up towards any massive ultimates to get online, but there is a possibility that they might be able to get something like the Neural Theft out for this next round. This is where the danger can certainly start to happen. It was remarkable the way that Sentinels won all of those pistols in the game against Gen G, because historically this year, that's actually been a big weakness for Sen. They've been one of the worst teams in terms of the crop we have here at Champs, of winning those pistols. So this is still familiar territory. Their job now is to make sure the DRX don't snowball.
They're looking to do just that. It's the same old game plan so far from DRX. They get easy access over towards B main.
I love that idea, though. They're hoping to see if anybody was playing aggressive in B-main and catch them with that recon dart.
Mac just holding, but he might have missed his timing as well. Peeks from the top section of mid. Meanwhile, it's going to come through. Players towards the back of the side as Killtrip set up to try and potentially play off. This is just a bit of raw spam in play through the cage. Elsis pressing the advantage and somehow walks away with the 3. Flashback. Sole survivor. A minute left into the round. 5 bullets. Tens is holding for the peak at just the right time, so.
Was Bane reloading? Was he blind? How on earth did Zelsis swing into a crossfire there and somehow make it out unscathed? That's kind of ridiculous. It's put him actually ahead of the breach on the other side, 69. Look at this. He's in. It was a reload. Just looking at it in the replay there, Bane is stuck in the reload animation and can't punish. Just has to watch in horror as Celsius swings through the front sight. Yeah, very. I mean, that could have easily gone wrong.
Right there.
Watch these B main hits though, because last time we saw them do this same kind of idea, but it was followed up with a recon dart, this same recon that's landing on front pillar. Now there's a meta that revolves around B main where you put the trip down, someone breaks the trip, and so often there's people contesting front B main on the defense. And that play is designed to push you back as a defender, get you holding right from the start to give up B main. It is working. DRX are getting into these positions to exec real fast.
Yeah, going through the motions as well. Getting rid of most of his utils. Zelsis takes a time and pass that drone as well, so he wants to cut it up close, but DRX have no intention of heading over towards B.
Both trips broken though, so that's going to keep people on the B site. A lot of pressure here on Sassy, who was phenomenal and has been so far at Champs. Yet to get on the board here, but it's early days.
Certainly so. Mako has the paranoia.
It looks like Foxy9 setting up to go for this fault line through from tiles.
Yeah, Tassa's going to get caught here. I mean, where the hell do you stand? He just evacuates immediately. Doesn't want anything to do with it. Going to be slowed down. Haunts up and over the top as well. But just the wall's going to reveal onto Buzz, but there's no punish in sight yet. A Sassy peeks round. Fallout C, second returns, at least with the kill. Going for seconds. It's cheeky, slightly greedy, yet he does get punished in the end with the trade still. He's turned it into that 3 versus 3. Norofeft given access and information towards it. Tens, though, lighting up these players. And a quick tap as well through the box. 69, barely on any health at all. Fault line, threw it out, sent to supplement. Bullet spam is perfect. Flashback. He's got too much to overcome there. Just cannot do it, not against the form that Tens is in right now. It's a 3-piece to finish off that round.
Being able to stabilize here, Sentinels. It looked dangerous. Sassy's position, just holding on to A there, and yet he read the play. They didn't lead with the fault line. They led, I believe, with a recon dart. And that allowed him enough time to be able to escape, and Zekken came in. What a slide, what a punish onto Buzz.
Spike planted.
Tens
One enemy
continues
remaining.
to have big impact, as he did in the Gen G game.
Hey!
This is going to put the hurt onto DRX.
Certainly is going to be knocking their economy at least down. Sheriff's and Bucky in play here, so taking a step back. Sentinels smelling that blood in the water. You can see Zekken's just going to opt into the Outlaw as well.
And Senna are about to get up to some pretty large ultimates as well. So a situation where DRX could have had an opportunity to snowball, just disappeared from them. Never quite had that moment. Here's that same stun set up for Foxy9. Tens is ready, holding paranoia. So both teams looking to just hold on to the status quo. As DRX push forward and Sen trying to block them back. Paranoia didn't get used here though.
No more dreams.
Instead, Sassy holds the line with gun in hand.
Sen have a pretty good idea of how they want to try and lock down this A-main extremity. Paranoia that's now sent flying for Tens. Few stray bullets.
There.
Bit of chip damage onto the DRX players, but they are fully cut out of the picture. Needs to be careful he doesn't go down to a few stray bullets. It could offer an in for DRX in the round that otherwise don't really have too much of a chance of. Now, B main control was conceded, so Bane's picked this one up. There's pings out as well, but Sen have not drifted bodies away. They still have a lot of players here to receive.
Outlaw.
Yeah, and this is where it thrives. Second shot is going to be missing, but not with the stun. And oh my god! Just putting them into the blender.
I love that selfless play as well from Zekken, because it traps the rest of DRX, even if he went down into the choke point where the rest of his team can come back through. What a time, by the way, to pull out Zekken's first game this year on Neon. Going into the playoffs, change around the comp. Everybody's looking at this game thinking, oh, okay, DRX's map pool is looking good, but maybe Sen can win on the Raze maps. We come in here, a Raze map, and Zekken swapped over to Neon.
Spike down. B.
Sliding all over them.
remaining.
This is a pick that we've been looking forward to all year long, but we've been denied it.
Until now.
Was this the ace up Sentinel's sleeve all along?
First match of playoffs as well. These are both teams, you know, they're going to want to be putting their best foot forward, I think, to try and get that early lead. You can argue that they might be in quote-unquote, the easier side of the bracket, I suppose. If you look at the opponents that they might be going up against, like Trace and EDG, the potential winners of that matchup. But again, up for debate. We've shown a lot of parity so far with VCT. Now, Zelsis, this guy here, was one of my, we were kind of discussing, I think, ahead of time of what might be sticking points for this DRX squad, because they have a lot of green players, almost green as grass. It's up to Mako and Buzz as the veterans to try and push back and get the morale backing up. And Zelsis, he knows how to push the buttons.
Oh, he certainly does. You watch Zelsis in any game like this, where he's playing against people and he knows he has the experience advantage.
Yeah.
He loves to press on the wounds. Any kind of gap that opens up, he's going to try to wedge that bigger and bigger. By taking liberties, by pushing players, spraying in their faces and trying to wide swing onto them, all sorts of little tricks he'll pull out to try to win the mental game.
Yeah.
As they did when they lifted their trophy this year in Madrid by kind of booming Gen G's mental on Icebox. This is the point where DRX need to rally, and Senna hitting them, trying to hit him with a haymaker early on.
Yeah, that's a nice little fast play into mid, just in case there was one player catching the contact. They break most of the util. They don't hold on to the space. They're happy to concede it, give it up, back away for now.
Ideally, this is a round where you want to be fighting before Foxy9 can pick up an ult orb and get into position to use that Rolling Thunder too. So I think that's another reason why it's a great timing to go for an early play like that. Just didn't find anybody. So now it kind of becomes the game of, is Foxy9 allowed to get this ult orb in B main? Which it looks like it's going to be uncontested. And then how does Sen play around it? You've got to make it feel like you're on site. You can't just play fully off site. Teams are too good at that kind of stuff. They're just going to walk in. So you still got to apply a little bit of pressure while not getting caught.
Shotgun's going to go flying just in case.
They're not even going for the ult orb.
No. High ground angle, Tens! He's played up here before, and Buzz is all too aware. Stun rattles his way forward. Seconds blinded though, and he will have to give that one up. Can't offer himself up to take the fight into the 1v1. Foxy9 with a plant. No pushback from it, and now he's earned the ult into the post. It's a Nightfall going to be used to try and combine their might with a Rolling Thunder, pound for pound, to push them back once more, and a flank occurring from behind. Flashback unaccounted for. Second though, straight back in, and the supplement utility is just perfect, just missing. Foxy9 alive for now in a 1v2. Can't isolate the fight properly. It's Sassy able to beam him down, Phantom in hand, keeping that form flowing from the prior matches that he's played so far at Champs.
So DRX's idea there was that they were going to get into sight and use the plant to get that Rolling Thunder online, not give Sen as many cues as to where they were on the map and where they were going to be hitting with it. It's even a nice opener to catch Tens on a high ground position that he normally plays. And yet, Sen are ahead of the game when it comes to ults. As soon as that Rolling Thunder came out, there's a Nightfall, there's their own Rolling Thunder in response, and they collapse, utilizing that pace that the Neon gives you to be able to scale up onto site really quickly.
Sentinels are one of the leading teams in terms of retake success. Pretty good at that regard. And I think Neon, like you said, I mean, just the amount of util that they've got, you can see how Zelsis was helping Zek get into the site. Playing off of all that high tempo, the fact that you can just get straight up in there. And headset off, you know what that means?
He just wanted to take a break, his ears were ringing. Is that what that means?
Sure.
It looks like we've got a bit of a tech pause. Presumably some kind of audio problem.
Yeah.
All right. What on earth?
What is happening here?
He's trying to polish Sassy's head. Listen, as a fellow bald guy, I know this bit.
Yeah?
I know this bit.
And Sassy's not giving him anything.
Dude, Sassy's looking like a fresh bowling ball today, though, isn't he? He's got shine out there.
He doesn't need it.
Bald recognized bald.
Yeah, yeah. I'll be there with you soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. We have an audience that a large amount of them are likely to go bald at some point in their life. You laugh it up while you're out there.
But yeah, that's like, but it is about 10 years on from them.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've got a lot of time. They can laugh.
Yeah. Enjoy your hairlines while you have them. No need to zoom in on Tens. I mean, that guy's got a great hairline.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a little tech pause here, though, but I think this is going to be a particularly bad time for DRX.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, this hasn't been done intentionally, but DRX are just left in this spot to stew on the fact that they have now let 4 in a row go the way of Sen. And especially when you see, like, the way that Foxy9 was taking that 1v2, for example, and his aim is all over the place, to be
Not
honest.
anticipating the players would be out, like the crosshair placements ever so slightly off.
Yeah, and just the aim itself and like the mouse control was a little wonky, to be honest.
What we were talking about, maybe the nerves playing a factor, because this is, you know, despite the fact that you've seen the name DRX at multiple events before, it's a very different roster this year that's turned up to the final international event of the year. You've got essentially the team being led by Mako, Buzz, being pushed into the position as the veterans who have to really pull up the morale when it gets knocked down, which we've seen evidence of. Their opening match for DRX, they got knocked down. That's wishful thinking.
I mean, we might see one.
We might see it. We
absolutely
good for
could see
it.
it.
I didn't mean to slander it.
It's cool as well to see the interplay between the rookie players and the veterans on their own team, but also on Sentinels.
Yeah.
Foxy9 looking up to Tenz over the course of his whole career.
That's right.
Because Tenz has been in the game for such a long time, and he was an icon of early Valorant. If anything, he's probably only got more popular as time's gone on.
Right.
But he was much more popular than any other pro at the beginning of the game, and it wasn't close. And so people like Foxy9, who weren't around at the start of the game, idolize this guy for all that he's been able to achieve.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, Foxy9 looked up to him. A very wholesome interaction that always occurs as well if they do cross paths.
Okay, and I'm taking a look. We're back in the game here, round 7, and Sentinels are 4 stacking over towards A to start this off. You'd be forgiven for thinking that that's the team on the eco taking a gamble, but it's not at all.
It's a kill trip setup towards the back of the side, John QT.
A very passive
Very
kill trip
passive,
setup.
so he's holding for aggression. But B main control, given up, turned over towards Bane. He's going to try and hold on to that space while the rest of his team looks for picks, looks for opportunities out through mid.
If this cam gets broken, John is going to struggle massively to maintain info in this area.
The all offloaded. Buzz is going to use the overdrive to try and barrel his way in through the side again. We know.
John can't even play off these trips.
To the back now, that's a Hunter's Fury to supplement. Tripped up though, caught up. Buzz deals with it nicely, and they've given up full control towards the back of the side. Sentinels. Open space here, but now they want to try and make this retake happen through the market area. This is going to put the pressure on the Mako. Paranoia and the stun, to all perfect. Alternating the lanes up. Buzz is going to have to play up into their face with the right click. It's going to be rewarded, but not enough for the second kill. Zelsis, a stave off Foxy9 in through the back of the site, up and over as well. Too many targets to overcome, yet still, Foxy9 does himself another one. But against the weaponry, you got to think. Inevitability, potentially. Shots rattled by flashback. To no avail. Zekken's ace seals up. Round had just that slightest amount of danger.
Outrageous. A day of firsts here for Zekken. Picking up Neon for the first time in 2024, and also, weirdly enough, his first ace of 2024 as well.
Which is wild.
Absolutely bonkers. I mean, he's been a phenomenal player all season. He's only gotten better, actually, as the year's gone on. But he still hasn't had an ace this year. Pulls it out. In a round, actually, where there was some serious danger, too. Sentinel's macro setup had left B completely open. They had to get back in there, and it looked a bit tough. John doesn't have any armor.
Forgot it.
Now, of course, John's going to buy armor. Oh, he does.
Oh, just in time.
Clutch.
Almost falling into the IGL debuff. Through a bit preempted, potentially, but it does push DRX away. They don't want anything to do with the towards the main extremity. Operator in the hands of Zekken. Get the sight set now, and he will be feeling that pressure. Needs to be defended as well from the market crunch. DRX have full control of that area of the map. This first shot accuracy. Zekken maintains that composure, doesn't take the shot just from seeing the shoulder. Flashback's still there, but doesn't expect that the player's already out. Bit of misinformation there for him. John QT still tucked up into the corner. Might be able to play spoiler. Already Sentinels have dropped 2 players into the mix. DRX coming out with all the answers for it. Still Sassy, he's there. Forced spray down to the operator. That was dropped down into main from Prior.
Here.
The post-line positioning of DRX. We slow it down into the moment now. Just looks impeccable. Last one. Just Celsius to stand against it, and he's not even able to save that rifle and scurry away with it. So DRX back in it. Stop the bleeding.
Not just that, they've actually identified the weakness in Sentinel's defensive setup. Yeah, it's only the first rifle round they've put on the board, but they're now figuring out B-main is being given to them mostly for free. Okay, this time Zekken was there with an op. But also Market has got nobody really playing inside of it heavily. They're playing very passive setups over towards the B site, and DRX have just started taking all of that space. So I agree with this decision coming from the Sentinels coaching staff. John QD, sorry, Kaplan, as the coach,
Yeah, could be
hit,
John.
has hit the red button.
Yeah.
I suppose, yeah, it could
Could be either of them.
But they've called a timeout in this position. And I think it makes sense, because at this point, DRX have figured out what's going on, and they're starting to vacuum up free space around the map. So if Sentinels have the depth for it, this would be a perfect time to start adjusting things and playing a hard anchor in market. Maybe John plays in that kind of position. Or trying to play Celsius, Tens, Second as a three-man stack to go and take B main control at the start with that one way and the stun and that kind of thing. You know, shift things up a little bit, change that defensive setup, throw the RX off after they've just got the read on what's happening. When you're in the lead like this, you can afford to take timeouts to try to stay in the lead. It's going to be a challenge for DRX here to figure out what's adjusted.
See if they do alternate setup, as you mentioned.
I mean, they did try to alternate the setup in some sense just by picking up that operator and giving it to Zek.
Holding it down through B, because, I mean, DRX were doing a lot of contact plays in through B main, not using too much use.
It wasn't really contacting though. They would breach flash in, they threw a recon, like there was some kind of stunning as well.
Well, now you're seeing it. Same signs of life.
And this setup designed to try to catch John QD. He backs out of there early on, and Zekan's taking contact in market with his op, hoping that DRX again go for that kind of contacty play through market.
Noise bait idea from DRX, you could see it. Just from the way that Buzz was hopping around, getting the noise, but out one-way smoke propped up here. We're using the drone.
I like this. You push Sassy off the angle, you make sure that Sentinels do not have info in this side of the map, and then you can go back and re-hit over towards B.
It's Zelsis over.
It's absolutely looked like B has been the favored site for DRX to hit, and I don't expect this round to be an exception to that.
Yeah,
Do they get
players already inserted?
Do they get a free cross on mid? Is Celsius going to try to contest? Looks like he's not thinking about it currently, but they could walk into the off.
Poke up, shots in the face, and well, blinded up from somewhere. That's Mako, right?
Aim blind.
Yeah. So Bane just couldn't see a bloody thing there, but now I know at least the operator is back online too. With 30 seconds left, they've got no pivot
30
options.
seconds left.
Gonna have to overwhelm this A setup. Assassin's got Eddie a stub. Can't quite hit that first shot. Accuracy sees as well as dodge. Duke, but trade inside, at least from Tens. Now backs himself away, retreating to the safety of the site, and there's holes all over the place here. DRX attempting to make the most of it, but with only a few seconds to remain, it's all just ran out, ran dry. Have to back away, keep these guns into the next, if they even can, because they're being hunted. Zelsis punished though.
That gets Foxy one away from Rolling Thunder. At this point, DRX need big ultimates to get across the line. Sen, good tag timeout. Small adjustment, not a large one like I was suggesting, just a minor adjustment of where the operators played, but a good read that DRX were going to go for another one of those B splits. I think DRX should have adjusted that though. I think, you know, when your opponent's when you just won a round with a B split, and then your opponent takes a tag timeout, I think you should probably be adjusting as well.
Right.
And not just going back into a very similar B split strat. Zekan looking like he wants to take the orb towards B main. It's a difficult area because that's where DRX have been putting most of their early pressure. But this time, the side split, and they force out Paranoia early on. This all a distraction for Mako to slink through. And what a timing he's found.
He slipped straight past, hasn't he? Could deliver the blade to the back. Necessary to open up this A defense, but Tens is still holding it down himself. Out for the elbow angle, but Zekan punished. Now they know at least that they've lost control of this one. Knives are out, full running away. Mako needs to play for his life. Does he know that Sass is already up onto it, dodging the flash? The IGL doing the most. Standing up to that challenge and the pressure, and even just picking apart the players. Zelsis had no chance. Head on a swivel, had to look in either direction. Just gambled incorrectly and forcing a save out of John QT.
Beautiful set round that DRX have pulled out there. That's the kind of thing that I wish they'd done straight out of the tag timeout when you know that Sen are making adjustments, but nevertheless, a great time to run it here in round 10 as well. All of that A pressure early on, allowing Mako to get a really deep timing, and they even had a second layer of Flashback going for the more conventional lurk timing too.
Yeah.
If Flashback had died there in mid with that duel he'd taken, it wouldn't have mattered actually too much because Mako could have still been that knife in the back. And DRX love doing these double lurk strategies. They run those fairly often on bind as well on their attack side, though of course we're not going to see that in the series today. But watch out, because Macron and Flashback can be a deadly 1-2 combo on the lurk.
Yeah, I'm curious if Sen are going to be adjusting their setup as well. A top mid angle has been left pretty real estate, pretty open for most of the half.
And DRX have not been really exploiting it too much, apart from the round we just watched. They've mostly been trying to hammer through B main, through A main. Haven't worked mid that much. Might be part of their conditioning to focus heavily on the extremities to begin with, trying to loosen up mid, and then grab a couple rounds towards the end of the map, or the end of the half. Tens now has the operator, and another 4 stack on A. I'm not sure about this kind of setup. It's leaving B not just weak, but passive. Even if the Sen players rotate over to help John, they're probably still going to have to give up market and B main. They're not going to win these areas back.
Seems to be at least part of the game plan whenever a bit of Rolling Thunder online, or Buzz has the overdrive ready and waiting into his hands, flashes through as well, sent flying as well, but again it's that open sight, shock darts, at least removing one portion of it, and they know where the second trip is. Buzz knows roughly where it is. He's going to leave it up though. Go for the plant anyway, now retreating into that ever lovable B main post plant.
Would be a good time for Sentinels to go for some kind of mid push.
This is slow from Sen.
It is.
Against the Rolling Thunder, I feel like it could be some worries, but a Nightfall at least gives them peace of mind. They know that nobody's hunkering down onto the side, and with that lurk spotted, flashback down and out. Nora Fef gives them full information. Rolling Thunder has to be used nice and early here. Paranoia alongside it, sees to the feet. Aftershock into the corner, overdrive, let loose. Zekken trying to get explosive, trying to get electric. John QT trying to play himself in, but he's fallen asleep at the wheel, and a few stray bullets surely needs to end the line, but it's DRX players. They're all gone in the end, but time, as I said, got a little bit too slow from Sentinels at the beginning of that.
That's a rough one from Sen. They had the right ideas, but they didn't hit the gas pedal early enough. I'm not even sure who gets the credit there for the clutch. The Red Bull clutch on DRX goes to one of the players that was left alive towards the end there. Was that Foxy9? John catches the lurk. They know what's going on, but this crunch into B main, a little too slow. And also I think Foxy9 does a great job there of picking up Sassy. I think he was right about to get half on the spike. Even then, I think they didn't even have time to get half on it towards the end there.
Ball util was just too strong. DRX been walking in to the B site for most of the time, and now, again, trying to heavy conditional, at least pull some util out through the A main fight. Have been doing this quite a bit.
Zekken takes the op back. Was on 10s for the previous round. They're putting so much emphasis early on stacking players A on the defense to get somebody posted. It is working, but DRX once more start moving their way towards B main. They're never really worried about taking this part of the map. And it allows them to run these B execs pretty simply.
Yeah. Drone's just very far back just in case there is an offer into the B main angle. That's what they're anticipating. Clears most of the space again.
Tens not playing market this time. On the backside spot. It's new for him. Can he anchor?
Whoa!
Not a chance!
That's rapid from Buzz. He takes out one of the star players of Sentinels. No worries, no qualms. Up through mid. Flashback's still going to be opting in to try and play that backstab roll and position. Tucks himself to the corner. There's a door in his face, and he can hear plenty of footsteps, plenty of rotations. Now he becomes that insurance policy. Buzz. Angle trains, but he's missed that timing. Still doesn't decide to hold himself up onto it once more. Overdrives here, just to try and get Buzz out of dodge. Smokes up in their faces. It's an unusual position to be playing in, but still with a Rolling Thunder. Aftershock all combined through. Buzz has been unaccounted for, and he's spraying them through. Zeltz's half will not save you. That's a 4-piece and a flawless finish to the half. DRX drag it back up to 6.
What a finish for the Korean team here. 3 in a row, 4 out of the last 5. Making those adjustments and recovering beautifully. Oh, that entry is amazing from one of our best players so far at Champs.
It's been electric between both of these teams as well, and I'm sure it's just going to keep on going even into that second half.
Oh, come on. Trade in any phone in any condition guaranteed and get $800 off the new Galaxy Z Fold 6. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.
We're going to be looking at a more even half here, 6-6, and yeah, I mean, these teams going blow for blow as well. Lovely adjustments by DRX, I think, as well, spotting out some of the weaknesses in terms of Sentinel setups and what they were running themselves, just enough to be able to make it that much more competitive.
The players that I'm watching heading into the next half, it's that big duelist matchup. Zekken and Buzz. We just saw in the final round, Buzz hit an unbelievable entry.
Oh, yeah.
And he's been fantastic. The last month from Buzz has been unbelievable in terms of his form. Zekken continues to be a top 5 duelist in the world, in my opinion. And we're getting to see him on Neon today. What's the value difference between these two players? DRX start out with a triple stack, looking to try to control mid. Broken by that one smoke that TenZ places. Looks like they're going for a re-clear.
Yeah, I think that was the goal as well from Sen. They sent out the Paranoia, but no, or at least the Prowler, I should say. Here's the second one. Mako spots it and players, so he needs to give up that space now, back away, play the rest of his team in, of which they have arrived. And so this might just be a bit of a skirmish and a scramble now, and a scrap here with the util, blinded up second, spamming away, praying with the ghost in hand, still returns with a 2, up from the side. Buzz is definitely dealing out, addition back that action straight at them. John Qtito shuts him down, gliding round, flashback. Didn't quite dodge the flash in time, and he has got a lot to do in this spot. 2 to overcome, and it's a little bit too much at that.
Sen respond with a pistol of their own, bringing them into the lead again in this opening map. Really nicely played one too. The pathing from Zekken, I like it. The follow-up on the Paranoia is great, and it also, in this position, he's defended from A-Link. That cover stops him from being shot while he can focus on players in backside, and John trades people out in this round very nicely. Buzz needed to hit another world-class shot in order to win that one, and just couldn't quite find it in the moment. Pistols like that could end up making all the difference. Here you see a more traditional position from Flashback. Notice at the beginning of this round, the way that he was throwing the cam into B main early on. These cams, the one that's just above Zekken's head, these have huge value. That's why he's trying to break it in this moment as well. But we didn't really see John go for that. John was sitting really passive, so he didn't get caught by early round util. Flashback's willing to take the risk. We'll have to see if Sen can punish it once rifles come online in later rounds.
DRX is going to be late to the party here, still holding for that util just in case there was a player catching that contact. TenZ might be the mark that they were looking for still. He's got that rifle well trained, and the rest of his team in position, taking that space. Any aggression just punished almost immediately.
A nice idea. Buzz got caught by a flash just as he was looking to try to take the fight. Here's the final player on DRX. Caught, taken down. Clean.
Yeah.
All of these weapons carried forward. TenZ is going to be able to drop that Vandal and buy another one. So they should have plenty of damage in terms of their arsenal heading into round 3. Can Sen put together another bonus round? I say another. They haven't had one in this match yet, but against Gen G, 4 out of 4 bonus rounds converted.
It's insanity. You know, even the most consistent teams in the world don't really get them with that much. I mean, not every single one available, they just grasp. Now, let's see if they can do it again against DRX, the lone hometown heroes.
Not trying to run an early play there to punish Flashback.
Haven't cleared the cam either. Trip was a little bit too high, but does get broken in the end by that aftershock. And again, free reign over towards the site. At second, it's already making sure to lead that one for his team. Very much the spearhead. Paranoia's be used, gliding its way out to push back some of these players as well, but time has been bought. Plan only just going down. Here's a fault line. Might be that punish in sight, not quite. In through the back though, not anticipating it. Zekken! Beaming them all down. Just with that Spectre in hand still, it's evened out. 3 versus 3. Rifles in a few hands as well. Yeah. TenZ, pixel angle. Full confidence in his own aim. The Paranoia just missing, sliding straight past Mako with the adjustment. Foxy9 defusing. Needs to be spammed down. A few taps to the bullet. John QT cannot find him. The 1 round just under the nose of John QT. Stays alive at least towards the end, but that's DRX essentially stealing it.
Sen got themselves into a post plant there. It was winnable, but they've also done really solid damage to DRX. DRX actually might even have to take an eco after this. Zekken got more value than you would expect, and yes, the trade-outs were good. I like the idea of throwing a trip, actually, from the retake team as well, so that the post-planners can't push that final diffuser. All right, DRX are not going to take an eco, but spoiler alert, 3 Guardians out to play. The economic damage coming out of that bonus is pretty huge.
It's very much pulling over towards the scraps. Now to double face over towards Buzz. He just cannot stand his ground against it. Mako willing to square up, but the aftershock out and away with a Prowler. Now the fault line. You can see the layers of the util is just a little bit too good. And the flash was dodged by Second. Not enough, though, to win that fight out. Toxi9 delivers a death blow, at least with a few stray bullets once more. And this is putting an immense amount of pressure in through the back of the site. Dart needs to try and help out these players and push them back once more. Foxy9 with the aftershock. It is good. Sees now through the back once more. Sen trying to find these marks and targets potentially there. It's a rich environment. Sassy creeping, hopping over. It's watched by Bane. Can't win it. Damage done. The pre-fire onto the corner. Immaculate. And in the motion, 2v2. Bullets still remaining. Sassy can make a play with it, but opting to back away and go for the reload.
Tens has Spike.
Find you.
Now they're going for the refight. Tens does have the spike. The Haunt maybe went a little bit deeper. I think they would have gone for this one, but they got to watch every angle just in case. Flashbacks lurking. In through behind. Tens now planting. In for that backside control. Real uncomfortable post plant for Sentinels. It all comes down to these first shots that they hit and bullets exchange through the walls. No kills yet, but spraying them down. Skewered in place. That's Sassy. Blessed in the moment.
I don't think he even realized that second player was there. You saw him flick his crosshair away and then double take. Wait, did I just win the round?
Yeah.
All of that prior damage done. The Guardians were actually still hitting though for DRX. 3 kills, all coming from the Guardians in that round. Nice reposition towards the end from Tens. You saw that?
Yeah, he did. Definitely looked away. I mean, listen, better lucky than good.
Guys, we need to dumb this down.
Okay, we're not going to hear the exact strat, but prep for something dumb coming up. Now, I think what he means by that is keep it simple, right? Not necessarily stupid, but just go for the execs. They're not able to hold on. Fall back into some classic B post plants as long as they don't have, you know, massive ults to be able to work with. And that's what Sentinels have gone for. They've already done massive eco damage across their bonus, and now following up in round 16.
Making sure that they can use some of that util. Here's an overdrive, offloaded again, but a rolling thunder used in kind. There was no tap there onto the spike to force it out early. Then just opted to use that one themselves. Just hearing these.
What?
Oh! What is that? Shock darts rebounding. Foxy9 now defusing, sticking. Needs to be defended, but the bullet spam again. Right in through the smoke, just finding all sorts of targets, but just Bane left alive despite the heroics. And not enough to do it. Be able to get some damage, and it is nice. With a 4-piece to finish. But still another round accrued, added to the tally for Sen.
I could not tell you how Bane's managed to get a 4K in that round. Where did the shock dart come from?
I have no idea.
How was there so much follow-up? A double kill from that. All right, but as you say, fairly irrelevant when all things are down. Take a look here in the replay and see what happens. 1 HP they're brought down to. So just a huge amount of damage from Buzz's ult. Followed up with a shock dart. Okay, but as I say, somewhat irrelevant at the end of the day because Sentinel's economy is flourishing, and now we get the rifle round. Sen,
comes down to...
that's missed.
Yeah, that's supposed to land onto the wire.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter too much. Again, wasn't clearing out any positions that Haunt didn't.
Sen still with full control over towards mid. DRX looking to at least contain it. Got a crossfire setup, at least they did. It's now just down to Buzz. He's the one who's got to hold this one down. I might be calling for some backup here. Second squares up, faces the challenge. Buzz is dropped in that head-to-head.
What an electric entry.
Give me a corpse.
Page up top. Smoking the face. John QT is desperately hunting for an ult. That is precarious, but barely escapes of his life. 3 stray bullets, not enough. Not a nightfall. Up and around Bane. Taking the peak, swinging wide, does win it now against Sassy, flashes again, overwhelming out through the back. This is Bane still helping him out. Dart up and over, it's going to be broken in the end. Spraying him down, Second is a menace right now, he's an absolute menace. But Foxy9 just cannot bring it over the line.
These rounds are coming down to the wire. Sentinels trying to control the chaos. You heard it from Zelsis earlier on. Trying to keep things simple, and yet there's multi-kills going all over the place. Bane followed up from his success on the eco by being able to get a couple there that were massive, and Foxy9 almost managed to accomplish the impossible. But it's Zellsis who stands strong, and Zekken delivering far more than should be asked of him so many times.
That we did it, baby!
You can feel that, man, the vibes. Flourishing for Sen.
And another eco for DRX. Their economy's been a massive problem for them on the defense side.
In shambles.
Ever since kind of snowballing off that bonus, which DRX did manage to actually prevent Sen from winning that round, but at what cost? They've just never been able to get their eco online since.
Taking too much of a knock.
Gotta go.
That pressure out over towards A as well, DRX. As we've been saying, the economy's not good for them right now into this round. They want to shore up the A site with bodies.
Them down.
Brainer might be enough for them, but okay, and that actually is still. Shots rattled from the Sheriff, unable to claim that kill. Ten is out in the open, there's no way he's still alive. But backs himself away, they want nothing to do with it now. Too many signs of life from the DRX players. And they've realized it entirely. Flashback, desperately trying to retreat and try and shore up the defense over towards B, but John QT's already snuck his way in there.
They already know where all four players are. They know that there's nobody on the B site, and John, he has to not over-push this. If he gives it away, it's disastrous for Sen.
Doesn't want to give away the gun here. Still in through. It's going to be ults committed. DRX, a Hail Mary is called and asked for. Answered by Buzz and Bane. Dynamic as a duo. And a clearer path to success instantaneously.
Tens.
With an ult here for Tens.
He can pick the spike up.
They're trying to stack it. 3 bodies. Is it going to be
Denial.
Beautiful by DRX.
What a sick play! God, we've been waiting for one of those for so long. 3 bodies surrounding the spike. Tens can do naught but watch this round tick away.
Oh my God.
Great awareness of what was going on in that moment from DRX. That's sick.
These two teams are pushing each other to the brink, it feels like, in terms of the decision making.
And it's all very rapid, right? The tempo of this game has gone up dramatically. If Zellsis wanted to try to simplify things a little, it might be beneficial to run some slower rounds. But with the Neon in the mix and the way that Zekken is trying to entry by just knocking his head through brick walls, it feels like Sen are always playing a high tempo, and then DRX are matching them.
As we saw, that risk does pay off for DRX, but now Sen, they go full throttle and already catching kills. Reveal up through the back, Foxy9, potentially no long for this world, and yes, ran down with a follow-up damage as Sassy. Run and gun, here but Bane does return the fire, turns the kill for the trade, buzzes straight back and through, Tens up and over, drop in, and now it is getting messy. Dart has to be dealt with. It's just in time, they'll reveal onto these players, but still anchoring strong. Bane needs to lock and hold it down. 3-piece. Tens in that 1v2, he knows the drone is coming forward. 2-piece forwards, flashback, has his teammates back.
We are fully in the mud already today. These rounds are absolutely bonkers. A timeout call for Sentinels, and I think it's the right decision to go for.
It's got to be a slap on the wrist, I think.
Honestly, the fast play, it worked. It's a cool strat. The Haunt got big value. Zekken's entry was marvelous too. Buzz overheated there. It all just came down to these 2 frags from Bane. Being able to stop John Cutie and Zellsis trading that out over towards A-Link, defines the round, but even though the high tempo scrappiness is not necessarily causing the problem, or is the problem for Sentinels, I think just slowing the pace down a little here would be beneficial, honestly, for both teams to try to grasp some sense out of this match again.
I was all too ready to praise, I think, both of these teams for being quite smart in their play. It's high tempo, but they were taking pauses at the right time and making sure it was all synced up whenever they did make an aggressive play. That last round threw it out the window for a little bit. That tells me that as it gets closer and closer to that finish line, that 13th round for either of these squads, it's getting a bit more frantic, which is probably why we are seeing this Sen timeout here. You are right, slowing it down, Josh. The right call to be made. If you want to keep it simple, you can definitely do that with a nice slow default off the rip if you are Sentinels.
Zekken might be feeling like he's got a hot hand here and trying to increase the pace just for himself. 22 kills across 20 rounds right now. Clearly the top fragger in the map.
Set the stage nicely for Sentinels to get a lot of these rounds here. Still holding on to the lead of 2. Their own map pick.
Buzz looking to try to contest over towards B. Spots out Zekken, decides not to. Trip broken. We see a lot of these Sovas have great lineups like that. It only matters really though if you're going to go for that mid-round mid-push. Or late-round mid-push.
All grouped up through B main by Sen, but second guessing themselves.
They haven't gone for the ult orb onto Zellsis. Perhaps hoping that they can get that post-plant ult orb up. Just by Zellsis driving the spike into the ground. It's slow from Sen. I mean, I think this is absolutely what Kaplan's told them to do, is slow the pace down. But at this point, they're not really accomplishing too much because they haven't taken any elbow control or pushed like Mako off his line. They do have B main and mid, so it's not completely passive from Sentinels yet, but hard to see where they're looking to end unless this is a B split.
It's pings for a smoke out through market, so I think it will be that B split that you were talking about.
But now Sassy...
The trouble is, it's too little Utah. It just feels like a fake, and I think that DRX know this one. They're still going to be holding it down. 3 players now anchoring over towards the B side. The camera catching that contact, and the other players taking up residence out through market and now in through the site. It's all about how they deal with this one. Beautiful stun, that's Buzz, trying to make the most of it, up and through, not expecting the flashback was there, and holding all the angles, smokes, spam through, 1 out. That's 5 alive, a flawless finish, and it brings DRX up to 10, now 1 step away from equalizing.
Sick awareness from Bane as well, knowing that they wouldn't use the recon dart, wouldn't need it. Threw it into Narnia, send it over to Bind there. DRX crossfires though, clearly enough to be able to deal with this, and I think you're dead right, Ren. I don't think that Sen had put enough pressure over towards A to drag the rotates and make that winnable for them. And while we were talking about the DRX economy being a problem, the whole third quarter, now Sentinels are finding themselves in this loop of rifle round, eco round, rifle round, eco round. They need a big play here, either an individual or a strat to pull out that can right the ship, because DRX are making a very strong comeback on defense.
It's our first game of playoffs, of course, but that's what everybody's set their sights on to. Early days still so far. Essentially that midway point of the tournament. Mako is going to be challenged here. A lot to be asked of him, but I think with the fault line connecting, he's just going to be using the CPs to get the hell out of there. Yep. Damage done, spraying away. It's barely just cutting him up. Enough for him to stay alive here. Rolling Thunder, though, it is committed, and this is an abundance of util. Going to be used out here. Very much all in by Sentinels, and they need to come up with the damage and the goods, but already that counter util comes out swinging. DRX with the stun to supplement the defense. These players have not been dealt with. Tens does cut itself up, just cannot land it as well, even when he was trying to control his aim down. With the smokes dissipating, open angles, and the spike in the middle of nowhere. With no weaponry really to speak of here for Sen.
Last player standing.
The round's chalked. DRX have maintained control. And the 4 players that stay alive have got to credit this round win to the one who died. That shot from Mako was outrageous. He got hit by the breach ultimate. And you might think that's a huge investment for Sentinels. Clearly a mistake based on them losing the round. But they had an opportunity here to clean up Mako, clean up Foxy9 until that happened. Shot in the back of the head, putting down Zekken. How has he done that? I mean, he's stunned up. I guess it's just a cosmetic stun. That's got to be a tilter. Because Sen invested a big ult into that. They'd like it back at 11-11.
This round is so damn important now. The money stretched thin, really, for Sen. At this point, as we've already said, it's 11-11 DRX. Found that footing and more. Money flourishing. They don't have to worry about it for any point now of the regulation of this map. Stuns ricocheting through.
He's under the trip.
Even. Yeah, he's just got straight past that one, but it does just chew up and tag up onto John QT. He's going to go down to the kill trip as well. It's revealed all of them. Down, up and over. Buzz will fall and drop in the end, but Bane is right back at him. Able to help him out with the trade. It's all just gone to pot right now for Sen. Tagged up Tens. Doesn't stand a chance there. TPs to try and at least obfuscate where he might be going, but it's tag still in his face. Dodging the flash, but not enough. Crossfires. Set up all about. DRX now just need to take that one more step.
DRX's defense on B is so much more effective than what we saw from Sentinels when the sides were swapped. The cages, the trips, all finding value, allowing them to play for backside control, and the flood that comes in from the rest of DRX to support onto Flashback is fantastic. Sen can't really get through. They're trying to break the trips, but they still get caught by both of them, and they're never taking backside. Can Sen pull out something to get us into OT here?
Stray bullets going to be exchanged. No kills. Adjustment by Buzz with the shot.
Good info, but Buzz picks up a rifle now.
That's the benefit of being rich.
There are many benefits to being rich.
Oh, of course. We won't get into it. Smoked up though, through the face. Buzz is still going to try and be rooted to that spot here, mid-exploration. Needs to be value from this from Sentinels as well. To Crossfighters being held from either side. If Foxy overextends a little bit, no, just looks away. There are gaps to be found, but Sentinels have to be brave enough to just step over it. Instead it's Foxy9 tearing them to pieces. Drops his idol. Zekken was up next, on through the chopping block, and he might have just done enough. 3 left to stand for Sentinels to pull it back from the brink. There's 40 seconds left in the round, which is some time to work with, but again, they don't have the players and not even really the weaponry at it. Walking their way through its contact plays to see if they can get themselves in for the front of the site. Celsius sticking, sees denied, John Tito domes him, and Bane's also dropped in the throws. There's Flashback, no longer for this world. They're doing it and pulling it back.
DRX cannot afford to lose this situation. This was a 5v3, it's crumbled away from them. Foxy9, the player who managed to get those 2 openers, is now asked alongside Mako the veteran to do the most. How do you crack into this B main post?
Aftershock still for Celsius too. Time pressure is mounting. You can already hear it. The spike is ticking. Foxy9, straight flash, but he needs to get half, and he needs it now.
The stick.
That's the only wink on Foxy9. He's got it at least, but tagged up, stuck up. Mako, spam and sprayed. He will not survive. Overtime. It's almost preordained, man.
Switching sides.
That is the miracle that Sentinels were looking for. 5 rounds lost in a row. A 3v5, losing your 2 hottest fraggers.
30 seconds left.
And John has recovered it off the back of Sassy's support. A kill, a nightfall, John pushing into backside. And they've somehow pushed things to overtime.
Insanity.
Sen now get a chance on their defense. The sides will flip. Sen were playing super passively over towards B. They stacked 4 players A in a lot of the rounds. They're not changing things too heavily up here. Still 3 players defending over towards the A side. John set up slightly further forwards. And 10's anchoring.
Just towards the tail end, I think, of the attack side rounds of DRX, but they spotted that mid was the weakness in the setups for Sentinels.
They also thought, though, that market was the weakness.
Go, go, go.
Shot that through. Wall up and over. That's a paranoia to help Buzz out as well. He's going to be trying to make this play happen. Stuns, ricocheting. John QT can still hold his ground, but he's being swarmed. Not expecting that position. Flashback, rapid onto it, but Buzz has been cleaned up through the back of the site. 10's is no more.
4v3 for DRX. Don't know where Buzz was going, but his team's still at a player advantage. If they get this, Foxy's 1 away from his Rolling Thunder. It's a hard enough retake to pull off anyway, even without the breach ult.
DRX are fully aware. Just have to play their lives. The util is avoided. The TP by Mako is cheeky if he opts in. Fakes it. Tap from Zekken. No full committal. They're scared of the mid flank. Fault9's there. Snap back. An adjustment from Bane with the rifle in hand. Dropping Celsius. Sass is going to do so much more now, but already that time, and now the mid lurk. It's what they were anticipating, expecting. They know that nobody's on it. DRX should have done this. Into that 1v1. Circle shrinking. Sassy forced to stick. And Flashback handed that absolute slam dunk finish.
DRX have another map point. They found that hole again. Up through mid. The way that John is playing around mid and market, he's not aware of these timings. He either needs more support or a little more awareness of how DRX are going to be putting pressure towards market and mid at the same time.
Yeah.
And a beautiful identification of the holes once more in Sentinel's defensive setup. DRX have found the answer, at least to get things to have an opportunity to win the map. As yet, yet to close out.
That point.
But it took a miracle from Sentinels to put one on the board on their attack side.
Flash clearing. Celsius going to be vacuuming up the orb. Slow and steady though. Might be leaving a player in B main inserted, or might just opt in to go for over towards the A site. Sassy was tagged up in the midst of all of that. I believe by the drone down through mid, wanted to break it as well to threaten like his team was taking mid control.
Definitely feels like they're getting set up for a B split here from DRX's point of view. Of course, the intention.
Go, go, go.
Sound made. Mako. Hearing most of this one, even sent the stun flying, a little bit of a precaution there from Foxy9. The trouble with the A side is as well, you have to kind of take it into these two waves. DRX, they have the defenders. Final bastion of players as well. They're going to cement themselves to the spot as well, but it's fakes on fakes because guess what? Tens, he didn't give up B main control this entire time.
DRX have heard them leaving, but Buzz, I don't think fully confirmed that.
Haunt over. Bit of peace of mind here for Sen. They're going to be trying to make their moves now out through market again. It's just fakes on fakes, but I think this is just indecision, hesitancy.
20
Rearing his head for Sentinels. You have to make a play in. I mean, DRX is still in position. They're going to be able to put you down. Follow through with the rifles in hands as well. It has to be mechanical ability. You're down to 12 seconds. But still these players holding tight, close up, cutting them up, trading on site. Foxy9, spamming, spraying, praying away. Time has to be stuck at 10. He holds it down. Foxy9 barely alive. In the double digits, but no more, no long. That's 13-13. And talk about cutting it close for Sen, man. That is absurd.
Sen look completely scrambled. These attack rounds that they've put together in round 24 and 26 are nothing short of miraculous. They shouldn't be getting them across the line. When you're running in with only 15 seconds left into a stacked A site, DRX should be able to come out on top of that, and yet the Sen, I don't know, the Sen rifling mostly, being able to come out on top. The trading was decent, but I don't think they're going to be able to put together rounds like that too often. It feels absurd that they've managed to.
Yeah, it's just not consistent. Change up from Sentinels though. Opted into that B main control, at least early on. Trying to use the smokes as well to hold and lock this one down out through market. Here's a battle, and here's a skirmish. Celsius postured and pushed back, at least traded into play. Second, straight damage and bullet, at least through Foxy9. He might have done enough to play Tens. Back in, barrel, betrayed by it. Buzz didn't stand a chance. Gives Tens that perfect time with the reposition out wide. Foxy9 cannot adjust it in time.
Down B.
Down to that 1v2. Heads appearing, Flashback has chances and opportunities, but the C's, no connection. Just out of range, doubled up, Sen, the rifling surely does it, winning it, ADS Sassy! Barely there in time.
A big one for Sassy to win.
Switching sides. Match point.
What a time. He's been struggling towards the bottom of the scoreboard this map after an amazing champions. He's managed to put his team up to their first map point. DRX are going to take attack timeout. That was a very different defense setup. I've been talking about the fact that Sen need to change up their defensive
Gustavo, let's go!
This time, they put Zekken and Celsius hard anchoring inside market. They haven't done that basically the whole map. And then Tens is also in B main, swap the Cypher onto the other side. A massive difference in the defensive setup that caught DRX completely off guard.
DRX forced to call a timeout at this point though, when it comes to OT as well, all that prior conditioning. I mean, you can tell DRX are working off the prior information during the regular time. The fact that market area, there was a hole for the Sentinels defense, but they shored it up. And at this point, playbooks start to go out the window, conditioning starts to go out the window. Sometimes it just comes down to who can grasp it here and now.
And I'll
the
tell you,
opportunity presents itself.
In these big rounds late on, it's been Sentinels who have been grasping those opportunities. I've been talking about the rounds as miracles, but they're also scrappy, chaotic moments where the players with more experience are coming out on top. And if you want to frame it that way, you're absolutely welcome to, because I think Sen have been able to drag close situations across the line from round 24 onwards. There's a will to win here for Sen that I'm not seeing just yet for DRX.
Time to work.
DRX are going to have to just win this round just to get another round, another go of OT. I believe for the first time in this map, Sen have now claimed the driving seat.
And also claimed an empty site.
Yeah, spam though, sprayed. That's Mako. Back for the short angle. Pure instinct on display there with that kill. Stray bullets and spam only just connecting now to Sassy, spotting them out. Trips are going to be broken, but planned at least down. And now might be that second wave of things. It's a Prowler stun into the corner. Looking to lay claim to the life of one of these DRX players. But now here comes the util. Flowing through. C is going to be used in kind as well. Pushing them back still. Player disadvantage here for Sen. A lot's going to be asked of them. One way into their face. Sassy stands his ground. Stalwart defender. Rips them apart now. Out through. And Mako just cannot withstand this. Flashback. And Bane dropped down low to Cade into the single digits. And Bane will be no more. It's a 15-13 finish to the opening map of this series. And that experience shining through.
What performance, what tenacity from Sen. Winning the majority of those really close, scrappy rounds towards the end bodes well for them in the rest of this match.
It does, certainly does as well, but it just about take away their map pick. Up next, Haven. Don't go anywhere, you know, you don't want to miss it.